Welcome back, everybody. Today it is tank restoration day. I just took a chance on this XL175 tank on eBay, and I think I lucked out because this thing is not going to need much body work. There's a little surface rust underneath, but there's absolutely no rot. Unfortunately, the inside is complete rust, but we're going to fix that during this video using some citric acid. Also, I need to do a little bit of modifications on this tank because this is actually going on my XL125 Frankenbike that I swapped an engine out of a TRX 200SX. So in order to clear some things on that frame, I'm going to have to weld these holes shut. And I'm going to weld a new bung right there so it'll fit on that bike. So we're going to have all kinds of tips and tricks in this video. So stick around. We're going to strip the paint off. We're going to de-rustify the interior. We're going to do some gas welding to patch up those holes and put this bung on there. After that, we'll do all the body work, paint it, and it's going to look beautiful on that bike. So stick around. This is going to be a good one. All right, let's take a look down in here with the scope cam. Things are extraordinarily rusty. There we go. There's a big old chunk right there. Yeah, like I was saying before, I'm going to have to fill in these two holes since I can't use the stock bung on that frame. So I'm going to cut a little piece of sheet metal and we'll gas weld that with a torch right there and do the same thing. We'll put that bung right there. There, that is not going to leak. All right, now our fuel bung. Since this is so thick, I'm just gonna preheat this first. And then we'll stick it to the tank. Let that flow in. Nice. There we go, everything's all welded in. I put a little suction on the bung right now, and this is sealed up because I haven't drilled a hole through the tank yet. But yeah, that holds suction. So, yep, just run a drill bit down that through there. Run a little bit of fiberglass Bondo and Bodywork right through here. You'll never even know that was there. Run a drill through here. There. We've got gas. Next step, I'm gonna take a Tim McGraw here and get the paint off. This is making entirely too much dust. I'm taking it outside. Nope, it's raining. We're doing it inside and dusting later. A couple little dents here and there, but filler will take care of that. Okay, now that the paint's all off, I took some citric acid. You can pick this stuff up at Walmart in the canning section. It's used for canning tomatoes. Dissolved it in some water. Pour that in there. Top the tank off with water. And leave this sit for a day and see what the inside looks like. And definitely, the citric acid is pretty mild. You definitely don't want to use hydrochloric acid or muriatic acid that you can get at your hardware store on tanks. Ask me how I know. Yeah, don't use hydrochloric acid. Use something milder like citric acid if you're going to do something like this. And one good idea, or one thing I forgot to mention, if you have just a little bit of rust on the inside of your tank, I'd recommend Evapor Rust, not any kind of acid, because if you use acid on anything that's zinc plated on the inside of the tank, it's going to rip that liner away, and you're going to have bare metal and bigger problems than before if you're not planning on tank lining it. So only use the acid method if you're planning on using a tank liner after the fact. Well, the citric acid is doing an okay job on the inside of the tank, but this is some thick, crusty stuff, and it is taking a long time. So we're just going to expedite things. I'm going to roll this tank with some nuts and bolts and citric acid in there. We'll speed this up because we need to get a video done. All right, let's get the scope camera in here and see what we got. Yeah, you can kind of see it slowly starting to eat away some of the rust. You can see bare metal here and there, but these scales are super duper thick. Let's get down inside. Yep, bare metal down there. But we're going to be here forever. This thing is just that nasty. We're going to need some mechanical aggression on this. I got a plan here. I got this barrel I cut apart, and I bolted a hub off of a ATC 90 on here. There's my tumbler. Let's see how this is going to work. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I got a block of wood underneath there. Tank should fit inside there. That's not even remotely stable, so that's gonna work. I should probably see if this thing actually runs. It's been sitting for about a year. Gas, choke. Good job, 125. Well, that's awfully fast, but we'll see if we can turn the idle RPM down a little bit. I think this is gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna disconnect the coil and hook it on with some alligator clips. And then we'll take this alligator clip, tie it to the jack here, so when this thing decides to fall off the jack stands and just do that, go down the road, it'll die immediately. Perfect. Now that we've got the tank tumbler tumbling outside, I've got a bunch of random old hardware here. I'm gonna throw some nuts and bolts down the gas tank. I'll fill this up with that citric acid about, oh, maybe a quarter of the way. Seal up all the holes and we'll tumble. Okay, so I got my citric acid. Let's just dump a few solo cups of that in there. Oh, lemony. Now hopefully my petcock that I welded on there and my little holes that I welded up are holding. Yep, doesn't look like we're dripping. And now we'll just put it in a heavy duty garbage bag, duct tape it really tight so if anything does leak out, it should stay in the general vicinity of this garbage bag, hopefully. Oh yeah, that's a good sound there. That's metal on metal. That's gonna be highly abrasive. Okay, let's put our let's put our bread in the oven. Let's see if this is gonna work at all. What am I missing here? Ring gear. Run, buddy. A little RPM. Are you good? You good? Okay, you good. Well, that worked. Okay, we're putting a lid on it. This is such crap. You know, I'm gonna build a purpose-built tumbler one of these days because this is just no good. Now let's give it a try. That is just beautiful. working though. God, how hectic crap is this? Yeah, if you're a follower of my channel, you probably know that every once in a while I have some good ideas. That's not one of them right there. Nah, not even close. All right, sitting again overnight. This should be like completely rust free on the inside by now. Actually, you guys got to go outside. Yeah, this is not terrible for you, but no. Okay, let's take one more look down this guy. Let's get way over here. I'm seeing nothing but bare metal, folks. Of course, there's definitely the pits still left in there. That's good though. That will give the tank liner some teeth to hold on to. Where are we looking? Oh yeah, there's the back of the tank. Oh yeah, there's no rust on there. Yeah, now I want to just dry everything off really good with the heat gun. Make sure there's absolutely no moisture in there. So I used the heat gun and blew a bunch of hot air in there for about an hour, because this thing needs to be bone dry before you put the tank sealer in. I guess I didn't record it. This Pour 15 kit comes with a degreaser and something called metal prep that I put on the inside of the tank, put the directions, just forgot to record it. See if I can get this in here without dripping all over the place. Yeah, if you're curious how to use this Pour 15 tank sealer, just search for that. There's plenty of videos out there on the YouTubes. No need for me to go through it again. All right, let's just roll this around in a bunch of random directions forever. Get everything all nice and coated up. I'll be back shortly. If you can see in there or not. Looking pretty darn good. I'm gonna let this sit open to the elements for about a half hour, and then I'm gonna seal at the top again. I'll roll it around again and let that sit for about a half hour. At that point, we should be good to drain all the excess out. Let's see if we can take a look inside there. Yeah, you can definitely still see the rust pits that were in there, but there's nothing you can do about that. But we've got a really good seal. Instructions say let this sit for about 4 days to totally cure after I drain everything out. Well, the tank liner's been sitting up for a couple of days. It's not cured enough where I can put gas in it, but it's dry enough where I can work on the rest of the tank. I'm gonna sand everything down with some 400 so I can kind of see where my low spots, scratches, and dents and everything are. Yeah, there are a couple little divots and dents here and there. I'm just gonna Bondo the whole thing. Ouch. This should do the trick. Oh yeah, Bondo's gonna stick to that. I should probably take this outside because I'm getting those guys really dusty. Okay, so there's just a couple spots right there and right there, and then down by where I had to weld a little bit of a pinhole that I don't want to cover in just lightweight filler. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of fiberglass filler, put it over there, and then down at my area where I welded. Then we'll let that set up, sand that smooth, and then we'll give it a skim coat. A little bit right in that hole there. Okay, so I got the fiberglass filler in the tiny little dinguses. That's all set up and sanded down. Now I'm just going to mask off some of the areas where I don't want to get my lightweight filler in. Messes off the tape. I'll mix up some lightweight filler. Cover the whole thing. Let that set up. Yeah, we're going to mask this off because I don't want filler to get around there because that's a pain in the butt to get out of there and sand smooth. Also along those concave edges back there as well. Okay, now we're going to mix up our filler. Just some regular old Bondo from Walmart. After that, just a touch of fiberglass resin to thin it out. And fiberglass resin hardener. And the cream hardener for the Bondo. All right, let's make some lightweight filler. Now, just spread that skim coat over the entirety of the tank. Once that's set up, we'll just kind of block sand everything smooth. We're going to have, yes, we're going to have goodness. Very, very, very thin. Okay, so the filler is on the entirety of the tank. We're just going to let that set up, and I'll come back, sand everything smooth, and we'll be ready for primer. Oh, I better forget not to get my tape off here before that Bondo sets up. We're going to have an absolute catastrophe. Okay, so the wind is only 90 miles an hour today, so we're going to do some little sanding outside. But if the camera like gets blown over by the tripod, you're just going to have to take my word for it, and we'll go back inside after the wind subsides and I get done sanding. Okay, no, we're not filming outside. That's nuts. I don't want to wreck the camera. That's how she looks after she's done with 220 grit paper. So now, mix up a little bit of epoxy primer and spray the whole thing, and the epoxy primer will seal everything in. You're still going to see halos around the Bondo lines at that point, but after the epoxy primer is done, then I'm going to mix up some 2K urethane surfacer, which is basically just a thick primer, spray that on, let that dry up, and then we can block sand everything perfectly smooth. Yeah, I'll show you mixing the paint, but I'm not going to show you spraying the paint due to the wind outside. Well, the 90-mile-an-hour wind quit, and luckily I got the tank in before the downpour started. That's good. I sure hope the 14 people that are watching out there are enjoying this, because this is a pain in the butt. Yeah, you can kind of see right now the haze and the halos in between the filler and the bare metal. That is normal with a thin layer of primer. And this is generally the part in Bodywork where people kind of make a mistake and things look like hot garbage in the end. Basically looks like that after you paint. What we need to do is we need to let this epoxy primer set up, and then I'm going to mix up the 2K urethane surfacer. We'll lay down some thick coats, and once that dries up, we can sand everything down and it'll be perfectly smooth. Okay, I think I got about 12 minutes before the next rain cloud comes over. We're gonna rock and roll and do this. This tank is going to be painted, or at least primed today. Well, the good thing with that rain that came through, the wind dropped down to only about 45, 50 mile an hour. Yeah, we'll let this set up. Later on tonight, we'll block sand that. I've got some black guide coat. I'm going to dust this on the tank. Let's take the can up first. Now I'm going to dust it on the tank. Okay, so we'll let that dry up, and then I'm going to start block sanding. And if you want to get a really smooth finish, how you do that is you start block sanding with some 400 grit paper, and you start cutting away the guide coat. And once you have all the guide coat gone and you're back down to that gray primer, you are smooth. Because if you have any high spots or any low spots, or let's say you got any low spots left, when you're sanding, that's still going to be black. If you have any high spots, you're going to crack through the gray primer back into your black epoxy primer below. Okay, so I've got some 400 grit paper on this foam block. I'm just going to start sanding. And as I'm going here, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There's areas where the gray is already busted away. That's high. And the dark spot beside it, that's low. We just got to keep going and going and going until everything is perfectly smooth. Yeah, those are definitely low right there. Bing and bing. Hopefully that primer's thick enough right there where that'll go away. Feels like it's going to. All right, I'll be back in about 2 hours. Okay, we are looking really good. A couple little low spots here I'll sand off by hand a little bit. Started burning through into the epoxy primer there, but some nice fade. That's gonna be fine. Same as down here. Yeah, that'll paint over just fine. Oh, a little bit of a low spot right there, need to get out. Yeah, I'll just keep blocking some of these small little imperfections out with some 600 grit. And this gotta be ready to paint. Okay, I've got the underside of the tank gonna mask off. I'm gonna shoot the inside first and let that dry up, and at that point I'll pull the masking tape off, flip it over, and paint the side that you see. But now it's time for the paint reveal. I'm using, it's either called Chrysler Go Mango or Plymouth Vitamin C. This would have been the orange that was on the Roadrunners, let's see, Roadrunners Cudas from the late 60s and early 70s. I really, really like this orange. There we go. Use the correct mixing container. We're just going to mix up a little bit right now. Inside, we're going to drip that all over the table like you should. Probably just a little shot of reducer. This JAU is pretty runny the way it is. We'll mix this up, spray the inside, and see how it looks. And it'll happen once again. You'll turn to a friend. Someone understands. Yeah, I like it. It's very, very Mopar-y. That is going to be a pretty color. First coat, looking pretty shiny. Put it on a little bit too dry, but in the second coat we'll clean that all up. Yeah, with 2 coats on there, that should be good coverage. No runs, no sags. Very orange. Okay, the paint's still a little sticky, but I'm kind of itching to see what everything looks like on the inside as far as that tank liner is concerned. Look at that. That is looking pretty nice. There's the seam down at the bottom. Yeah. there's definitely no rust. Okay, there's the back side of it. Looking pretty darn sharp. Yeah, I don't want to mess around with that too much while the paint's setting up. We'll let that dry. I got a couple of bugs and dust spots in there I need to sand out, but yeah. As soon as that's all dry, we'll sand, buff it. We're ready to put it on the bike. Okay, the paint is set up for about a day. Unfortunately, I brought it in. Hopefully you can see in the camera, there's a couple dust spots here and there in the paint, but we can get those out. Got some 15 grit. Ooh, that'd be nasty. 1500 grit sandpaper, and I'm gonna wet sand and scratch up this brand new paint. Get that dust out. There's no really orange peel in it. A little bit here and there, but the finish kind of looks like, oh, a brand new car that you'd see nowadays. Not bad, but we can make it really shiny by doing this. Yeah, gotta be careful when you're sanding. If there's any like high, sharp edges, you can sand through that really, really quickly. So be very careful if there's any high, sharp edges when you're wet sanding. And make sure you don't break through your paint into the primer, because then you're repainting. Hopefully you can see here, littlest bit of orange peel. And right there are a couple dust spots. My goal is to sand these down till it looks perfectly smooth, like that area there. I don't want to go too far with it because I've got a cutting compound that will blow through that paint like nobody's business. But yeah, we'll keep sanding, get stuff like that guy right there out, and then we can polish. Okay, as we're sanding here, you can kind of see little sparkly areas or the low areas where the orange pit still is. There's a piece of dust right there. Yeah, I'm going to keep sanding on this side until stuff like this is gone, or close to gone. Like I said, the buffing compound that I'm going to be using is pretty aggressive, and we'll cut out the rest of that stuff. Yeah, goal is I don't want to go too deep and burn all the paint away and get down into the primer, because that'd be bad. Okay, after wet sanding, I let everything dry up till it's bone dry. Now, it's time to polish. Let's start with the Pro Speed compound. I'm kind of on the fence about using this because this stuff is really aggressive. You can kind of see right here, it actually goes up to 11. No, it goes to 12. Jeez. Because I'm nervous about the Pro Speed compound on this paint that's only a day old. I'm going to start down low on the tank. See if I'm going to burn through or not. We'll be very careful. Yep, we are smooth, smooth, smooth. I'm just going to take a clean paper towel and hand buff all the polish off there, and we can move on to the next step. And one nice surprise I found when I was doing this, I got a run right there. Fortunately, that is on the underside of the tank, and when things sitting on the kickstand, it's leaning like this. So we're just going to, we could wet sand that out. We're just going to ignore that. And you guys at home, you're not going to talk about that to anybody. Let's move on to the polish. Now it's going to start getting shiny. I really like the look of a wet sanded and buffed single stage paint. Clear coat's nice, but on motorcycles and stuff I drive, I prefer to use single stage and solid colors. So if I ever do scratch it or something like that, it's really easy to wet sand and buff out any scratches. Or if there's a chip or a big scratch in it down into the metal, they're really easy to touch up. I'll put a little more pressure on this. Oh, that's looking so good. So good. Wow. Normally not one to toot my own horn, but wow. One thing I figured out, vitamin C has a little bit of metal flake in it. I did a little reading. How did I go through all these years and not realize that vitamin C Plymouths were metallic? Huh. Kind of wish I would have went with Street Hemi Orange now, but oh well. it's going to look pretty out in the sun. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that metal flake in there. Beautiful. 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 Holy cow. I think I might be getting good at this kind of. Or at least slightly better than average. Okay, so now for the graphics. I think I want to do something similar to how the XL175 was, where the top of the tank is black, then kind of have it narrow up right here, and follow that curve over there. But I'm just trying to think of a way to do this. My thoughts are, I'm just going to take some grid paper and kind of lay this out and cut my stripes out on the grid paper first. And then I'll have all these grids as reference points. Should be able to take this to a graphic art program on the computer that has the grid lines on it and replicate it. And we'll see if it works. Follow the line of the tank. Where are you at there, buddy? Yeah, this is going to take a couple tries. A little bit of denial and error to get this right. But this should do the trick. Okay, let's see how this is going to look. We'll line that up about right there. Ooh, that's kind of nice. So now I'm just kind of recreating that on the pewter. I'm just not going to go through the whole process of how I drew all this out. That might get a little long and boring, but essentially it kind of looks something like this. Oh, this would be so much easier to do if I didn't have these damn big feet hands. Okay, so here is the shape that I kind of drew out, and we'll send it over the vinyl cutter. I'm going to be using Oracal 651 permanent in black. This is basically just the same stuff that automotive manufacturers use to put stripes on cars. So this is going to work absolutely dandy on here. So we'll get the machine loaded up, cut that out, and we'll see how close I trace that grid paper. Okay, I got the vinyl loaded in there. Everything should be ready to go. Keep our fingers away because that looks like a bad day. All right, let's just cut and see what happens. So I rubbed everything down with wax and grease remover. Everything should be ready to go. I'm not going to use transfer tape on this because there's kind of a weird curve here. I think I'm just going to put it down wet with a little glass cleaner and squeegee all the water out. Should be able to lay it kind of where I want it. Start to peel everything away. Yeah, very nice. No air bubbles. I'll just keep squeegeeing the water out from underneath it. Hopefully we'll have as much luck with the second one as we did with the first. That's going to be a little tricky not to rip that. All right, fold in on itself and do that. Okay, there, we officially made a Harley. Nice. All right, what do you think of that? Pretty darn sharp. Now what? I'm thinking probably the pinstripe now, or I think I might make myself some Honda wings. So what I did, I want to have like a multi-layered graphic like this. Black background, I'm going to have yellow on the wings and white on that. So the first thing I need to do is cut out just some black in that shape, and then I'll cut this guy out in white and in one of these two yellows, and then layer them all together, throw it on the tank. Okay, let's cut the black background out. And now the detail. Make one yellow and one white one. And go weed out all the cuts. Layer everything and have ourselves some graphics. Yeah, now the white. Now I get the lucky job of weeding everything out. Lucky me. This one will be a piece of cake. It's just the white or the yellow one that's going to be a problem. All those details on those yellow wings. One side. And if all else fails, I'm leaving it like that. Mystery bike. So where do I want that positioned? Probably right up there. Now on the white, I just need the word Honda so I can trim a lot of this away. Make it a little easier to weed this out. Why don't I just buy these on eBay? I guess that would make a very entertaining video. Yeah, it's gonna look nice. Stay down, buddy. Stay down. Okay, I've got a little rubbing alcohol to get my grease prints off of here. A piece of clear transfer tape that I'll lay down top of the Honda. Oops, come on. Okay. Push this down. I should be able to peel just the letters away from the backing. Like so. Nice. Now, see if I'm not all fidgety. Should be able to line this up just by eyeballing it. Get it pretty darn close. Usually I have to itch my nose right at the end here. Nope, that's good. Push that down, peel the transfer tape back, and I'm peeling the whole thing back. Nice. Get those guys on there. I want to get one on the tank. All right, take a deep breath. Let's get this on straight. Look at how pretty that is. Oh, yeah. Yep. Let's get the transfer tape. That is pretty, pretty, pretty. I'm talking like Avril Lavigne pretty. Now, yeah, I'll probably put this down wet as well, just so I can position it exactly how I want it. Oh, come on. You're stuck down. You dirty dog. You had no problem coming off a second ago, and now you're just... Perfect. No. Let's just get her kind of square on the tank. Slowly squeegee everything out. I like it. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Get the other side on, and then after that, yep, like 3/8 black pinstriped right there as well, and we'll be done. Excellent. So went into town and got some black vinyl pinstriping. That's the same as this stuff. We're gonna lay this down just like that, and then we'll do some glamour shots here. Show you what the whole thing looks like when it's finished. Let's throw a little spray wax on there. Let's get it out in the sun and see how it looks. Yes, sirree, Bob. That turned out great. Yeah, I'm really liking that metal flake in the Plymouth Vitamin C. Looks pretty nice. And my old Roadrunner rally stripes. Yeah. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Beautiful. What do you think? Leave me a comment. Or at least leave a thumbs up. I mean, the thumb up button is right there. It's not that hard. It's a lot easier than doing this. I mean, I gotta do all this. All I gotta do is click this like button right here. Like. Well, folks, what do you think? Did I pick the right color? Did I pick the right stripes? Leave me a comment below. What do you think? How would you have done it differently? It is really coming together. I'm really liking that orange tank. And it kind of got me thinking, do I make my side panel orange instead of black? Thinking, paint that to match that. Then make my logos back here, match the logo right there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave that black, paint it orange. Anyway, this thing's getting really close. Definitely gonna have it ready for our trip here later this summer. But yeah, I'd say within the next couple weeks I'll have it ready to go. Figure out what I'm gonna do with my exhaust. But that's gonna come at a later date when I can get out to Sport Wheels in Minneapolis to find something that'll fit-ish in here. But in the meantime, yeah, if you want to watch more videos of this bike, I think you're gonna like this video, or you're really gonna like these ones over here. Click over there if you want to see some more videos of this bike, or spin on over the channel, subscribe, see what I got going on over there. See you around.